partaking with me on this new cleanse adventure. I've been running cleanses for about 4.5 years, but we've always done a 21-day standard process based, that's a supplement company cleanse. And honestly, I just wanted to shake it up. I get bored. And so Michelle and I started researching, and one of my patients told me about this book called The Fat Flush Plan that Ann-Louise Gittleman has worked on for decades. She's a nutritionist. And that my patient was just really swearing by this diet, and that was the only thing that helped. It helped with her hormones and her acne and her weight loss, and really getting weight off places she didn't like it, more the hormonal weight like this and the hips and stuff like that. And so I ordered the book and I started reading it. It sounded pretty convincing, but I'm not on board with everything she says, and I'm not honestly 100% familiar with it because I haven't done her whole program. But I liked a lot of what she was saying, and so what I did is I modified it to what I think is a good program, mixing the years of experience and also being really clear I don't want to fast anybody. I want people to be really nourished, and that I really think a lot of our problems right now is that people are actually really depleted, and so the last thing I want to do is put somebody in a situation to further deplete themselves. I really want to nourish them with very, rich, dense micronutrients. But at the same, which is really what my other cleanse is focused on in addition to detoxifying. But we also, I think, are at the point that many of us don't want to spend 21 days, and many of us do want to do a cleanse for weight loss. And so we've established this program, and so you all are actually my pilot group, so thank you for coming and being part of that. And so I would love any feedback as we go along with the process, and advice and things like that, just on how to make it better or things you like and don't like. And I think actually at the end, for this particular cleanse, this is our only scheduled meeting, but I think at the end I'm going to do another optional meeting for people who just want to come and share and give me feedback and kind of help me make it better. And it's also a time that I usually do that with my other cleanse groups because it's also a time we celebrate. But with this one, it's going to go fast because it's only 11 days. 21 days, you feel like it's, we really span the course of a month, and it feels like a long time. So my name is Heather Hunt. I'm a chiropractor, and I practice functional medicine, and I do a lot of craniosacral. And I've been working here in Nevada County with my dad, Dale Jacobson, here at Jacobson Chiropractic for 8.5 years now, which seems like a long time. I've always been really interested in health, obviously growing up with my dad, and I really grew up with the knowledge that my body is my temple and it's my vehicle for this life, and I need to take really good care of it. And so that really permeates all the work that I do. And as I got older, as I was younger, I could do it all with food, which is what my dad really advocates in his amazing book, actually, which we should pass around. He has a lot of articles, and it's all online also, but The Guide to Healthy Living. And so he's really been able to do that through food. And stuff that he pioneered in the last 20, 30, 40 years is now like mainstream. Like bone broths and raw milk and ferments. And actually we were in San Francisco the other weekend, and there's a big billboard downtown on kombucha. So it's like, okay, Dad, you don't need to, your crusade is successful. Like everybody knows now. But I got to the point in my early 20s that I was not able to keep myself balanced anymore with just diet. And so I experimented with different supplements, never really doing anything too much, but having some pretty good success with a few things that, was like, for me, like taking heroin or something in my dad's house, right? Like you take some vitamin A, oh my gosh, your body should be able to do that. So as I've gotten older, and especially after 3 kids, then you really need help. And I think that in the modern world that we live in, with all of our toxicity in the environment, and then also what I call technology-induced anxiety, that we're just on all the time, that it's really hard to stay balanced. And I look at that from a physiological point of view because that's my lens. I like physiology and the physical body. Though at the same time we need to pay attention to the whole picture. So we're really, ask me your physiological questions. That's what I'm very interested in. So this is a cleanse. It's not just a weight loss venture, because I did throw in some cleansing supplements because I like that. So, you know, why cleanse, right? Well, why not? Because we live in a toxic world. We all have stress. Our bodies don't eliminate all of the things we even make naturally all the time if we have a bad gut or our liver's backed up. And in the past, we've called it liver congestion, which always was fine for me, but I was like, how the heck can a liver get congested, you know? And then at the most recent seminar I did with one of my functional medicine heroes, Dr. Datis Karazian, he was the first person I heard call it liver biotransformation. And I was like, oh, that's so great. I love, you know, so basically the liver is our major organ of detoxification. And it doesn't only get rid of external toxins, but internal. And it literally biotransforms these into substances that we can eliminate through sweat or through feces, things like this. So, you know, when we have, and there's lots of biotransformation issues. Some of it's genetic with methylation and things like that. Some of it, we're going to learn a lot more in the next 10 years. I'm really excited because we're just at kind of the tip of the iceberg with figuring out how genetic detoxification pathways can help or hinder us. But then also we can have biotransformation issues with our body merely not, you know, like not eating enough vegetables or having a slow transit time with our gut. Because what happens is that what gets eliminated out of the liver will get reabsorbed back in the bloodstream and back into the liver if we don't have great detoxification. Like, it's a big picture. It's a lot more than just the liver. It's the whole system, and we can have a lot of hormonal buildup and things like that. So when you look at a cleanse, the liver is like kind of key, right? So, so we have, let's see. Actually, let's go through the cleanse kit, and then I'll talk about the supplements. And because this cleanse really is more geared towards weight loss. Because it's really geared more towards weight loss, I've taken out some of the supplements in our 21-day cleanse, and we've replaced it with some weight loss, though we do still have the LVGB is liver gallbladder, and so this product kind of encompasses what I used to use 2 products for, and we'll just see how well it works, you know? I'm excited. But, so that's going to be the liver gallbladder. The gallbladder is super important with the liver too, as far as getting rid of extra hormones, breaking down our fats, digestion, constipation, all of that. And then the weight loss packets are in here, and in order to keep costs down for people, we just basically they come in big boxes of 60, which is a month's supply if you're doing like a cleanse like we're doing, a detoxification program. And so we're basically just giving people the 11-day supply to keep the cost down. And the ingredients on this is another Designs for Health product, which is this company, which I really like. They're very good at sourcing like non-GMO, organic when possible. They're really great with their dairies and things like that. If you get a supplement that has dairy in it, it's all like grass-fed and organic and stuff like that. So the name for this Designs for Health is a good name because they really do design their products very carefully and they're very synergistic. It's different than so these are a little bit more powerful than the hypothetically, or maybe they're more synthetic, I guess. They're more put together, formulated than the standard processed products. The standard processed products are whole food. So they're literally just a bunch of food put together. And these actually do have like more B vitamins and I mean they're basically still fairly whole food, but they definitely have a little bit more, like this one has taurine in it. You know, standard process would never have taurine in a supplement. They would probably find some food that had taurine in it and put it in. So so it is a little bit more
isolated compounds.
Yeah, isolated compounds instead of a whole food, which for my people tend to be great because my people tend to be really healthy. My all of you. But just be a little bit cognizant that unlike the whole food products, these could cause a little bit more like adverse reactions as well. but they are meant to push detox pathways. So, you know, this one could like make your liver area kind of hurt, this right side. So if that happens, it could detox you, give you a headache more. You know, back off on them and just be in contact with us because they're going to be strong. And we hope that this one's going to be really strong because this is the weight loss packet. So the ingredients are here, and this is a mix of 3 different supplements. And we'll go through the diet and everything after this, but I'm going to go through the supplements first so you know what you're looking at. This is really cool because they're all individually packaged, and you'll do one in the morning and one around lunchtime, but it's better to do them on an empty stomach. And then what's inside of them is a product called EndoTrim, which is for the endocrine system, which is the hormonal system, and they're literally trimming the endocrine system. Because what happens to a lot of us is we don't, you know, especially with all the plastics in our environment, which act as estrogens in our bodies, a lot of us have estrogen imbalances or hormonal imbalances, whether you're a man or a woman, unfortunately, just due to the fact that we drink out of plastic things, or even if we try really hard not to, like me. So remember, with plastic, it does act as an estrogen in your body, and the things that make plastic leach are detergents and high heat and oils. So don't heat anything in plastic. I don't put any plastic in my dishwasher because I don't want to break it down faster. Even cans are lined with plastic unless you get a BPA-free can. This whole BPA thing is like the scapegoat. All of it's bad. I mean, really. There's BPBs, and you know there are, and basically it's all endocrine disrupting, which will make it more likely that we're going to do this, and you know, really annoying. So they're convenient. We like our little plastic packages of supplements, but try to minimize that in general. And so the EndoTrim is basically a supplement that helps with the endocrine system, feeding the endocrine system, and also helping to eliminate what we need to trim off, basically. And then there's L-carnitine, which I guess this is the first time I've used this. It's supposed to be really good for the mitochondria of the cell, the powerhouse of the cell. Yes, I remember that from biology. Mr. Ramirez would be so proud. So L-carnitine is really good for just getting the metabolism of the cell up. So I don't know how many of you have hypothyroidism or know people. The thyroid is basically the regulator of the whole body as far as metabolism goes, cellular metabolism. So when somebody goes hypothyroid, they literally their metabolism in their cells slows down. So L-carnitine is something that is supposed to get that metabolism rate up, which is why people like it for weight loss. It's also supposed to be very excellent for the heart and for the brain, and it's a little bit stimulating, so you don't want to take this past 1 or 2 p.m. And this is also why I'm not putting in an adrenal support into this, because I don't want to, we're just experimenting, but my sense is I know a lot of you, and that if I wanted you on adrenal support, I'll tell you. And we're doing an experiment, and I don't want to wire people too much. So, and then the Thermo EFX is literally another supplement that is meant to raise the temperature of the body, and it is, again, that rate of metabolism of the cells. So, you know, supposedly these weight loss packets, even without dietary change, are effective for people losing weight. We'll see. I'm very curious.
Carnitine, that's the stimulant?
Yeah. Yeah, and I can tell you because I actually emailed the rep and I was like, well, how do we know which is which? And so she sent me, the carnitine is the one that's just a single, although they all 3 look kind of the same. Well, one's a little bit bigger, so it's probably, you know, but if you're curious, I can email out what that is.
Well, I just know I'm sensitive to
Yeah.
stimulants, so if it's an issue, then I'll contact you.
Yeah, let me know. That's a good point. If any of you want to know, or if you're having any, you know, adverse reactions, this one shouldn't. But again, it's a big mix. Look at all these ingredients, right? It's a big mix of things. Now, a lot of people do really fantastically with big mixes of things, but it's not the most conservative approach, right? That's why the standard process is just sort of a no-brainer conservative approach. So then we have this one. Does somebody have a blackcurrant seed oil? Yes, exactly. We do have one standard process product on this cleanse. It's the blackcurrant seed oil. And this is a high source of GLA, which is an essential fatty acid. So essential fatty acids, usually we hear about, mean that your body doesn't make them. We have to consume them. And so we have the omega-6s, the omega-3s, the omega-9s. And we tend to all really hear a lot about the omega-3s, which are the fish oils, and now you can get it in form of algae, plankton omegas. Very, very important, one of my absolute favorite things to have people on. And I'm actually kind of mega dosing people at this point. I have the note about this to 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams a day because most of us don't eat a lot of fish anymore. And so there's a few different brands I like of omega-3s, but they're really, really good for inflammation, for our eyes, for our skin. In fact, one of my brother-in-law's aunt is like this top esthetician. She has people take 10,000 milligrams a day for their skin alone. And so I feel like, you know, getting people to take 2,000 to 4,000 a day is not excessive. And it's really also great for the immune system. Did I say brain? So when anyone comes in with any sort of memory issues or brain fog, I'm like, megadose them. Or any skin issues, you know, it's like megadose them.
With the GLA.
No, omega-3s.
With the omega-3.
So now,
How do you, I mean, if you're megadosing, then when do you?
well, and what's megadosing, right? To me, 10,000 is megadosing. So I generally have people on 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams a day, depending on if they eat fish or not. Like if you eat fish once or twice a week, you know. But I don't know about you, but most people don't right now. So, so these GLAs are more omega-6s, which honestly in mainstream population tends to be in very high amounts because omega-6s and 9s are more pro-inflammatory usually, and they're more in like safflower oils and corn oils and things like that, olive oils, and so, you know, people don't usually supplement with those. Some newer research and some of the stuff that Annalise Gittleman is really excited about with the 6s in particular is their effects on hormone balancing and weight loss. So if anyone's heard of like evening primrose oil or borage oil, those are the GLAs, and that's what this black currant seed oil is. And so this one I did want to stick with a whole food because I could just get GLA for all of you, but I just wanted to really, you know, I felt really drawn to this particular product. And so, but what the goal is with this is really to balance hormones again, to promote weight loss. Let's see what else she said. It stimulates the thyroid and then it activates brown adipose tissue to burn fat. So if you're really curious, I could like photocopy this page, but there's this whole thing on brown adipose tissue, which is in bears. It stores a lot of energy, and in babies, like so you don't have to eat a lot, you can hibernate, but we don't really need it because we're eating. And so the GLAs help burn that brown fat. And so she's just done a lot of research, Annalise Gittleman, around how to burn fat naturally, and so she uses this and then also the CLA, which is what's in here. And the CLA is also here. It's another omega-6-ish type supplement, and it is literally just the CLA from safflower oil. But the whole goal then is, again, to mobilize the fat, to increase metabolism, and because you're going to go off all those oils in this cleanse, you still get some. But it's kind of an interesting, I'm going to be really curious how you guys all feel about it. I think, you know, like I said, most mainstream Americans get too much of these oils, but I think that a lot of us, especially in our area, because we're so health conscious, we know not to like max out on trans fats and safflower oils and corn oils, and we're not doing deep fried foods as much. So I think arguably some of us could be a little deficient in this. It's also great for your skin and for your eyes and for hormones. That's why people do like evening primrose oil and things like that. So it's supposed to be great also with like hot flashes and PMS, and so we'll see. So those are the two oils that really supposedly stimulate fat burning. So again, big experiment. And then the meat of this supplement, this cleanse, is going to be this drink. And I've used in the past the SP Complete, which you are welcome to use if you want. But this particular product is, well, we have a few actually that you can choose from, and I would like you to be cognizant about how you choose. You might have an SP Cleanse. And how about a CLA too?
Cleanse or complete?
Cleanse.
I have an SP complete right here.
Yeah, I'll show them that too. So the SP Complete, the SP Complete is what we've used in the past. This is a really great product for stabilizing blood sugar. It does have whey in it, which tends to be okay for people in this form because it's a non-denatured whey, which means it's never been heated to high temperature. It's very good for like just really, really, really balancing your blood sugar. So if you've had good success with this product, you're totally welcome to use it. But for this particular cleanse, I'm switching to the Clearvite because I want to get all dairy out. Although I think I'm going to allow you to have butter. Because I really don't see how people can live without butter. It's really just, I mean, unless you really know that you're like really like allergic to it or you really don't tolerate it. So the PSF is what we put in people's kits in general, though I want to give you the information so you can swap it out if you want. The PSF is a pea-based protein, like little peas. Green peas. Pea protein. Yeah, vegetable.
Oh, got it, okay.
So, but the great thing about Apex Energetics, and this is, I think if I had to choose one supplement line, this would be my fave. Datis Karazian, that guy I was talking about, who wrote Why You Still Have Thyroid Symptoms When Your Lab Tests Are Normal, and the brain book, Why Isn't My Brain Working? And he's just a brilliant, he's actually a chiropractor, and he's a Harvard Research Fellow now. And he's just brilliant as far as big picture thinking and systems and putting things together. He formulates these, and he's one of the first people too. He's done a ton of the autoimmune research. So the Apex Energetic line is all autoimmune friendly. They're very careful about anything that could aggravate autoimmunity, including things that you wouldn't even necessarily think, like licorice, things like that. So, and they're constantly sort of reformulating their lines and coming out with new products as new research comes out. But this particular product is like a protein drink, so 2 scoops is 10 grams, but it also it's sort of like a multivitamin, you'll see it has a lot of vitamins, but it also has gut support like marshmallow root and Jerusalem artichoke and quercetin, L-glutamine, and then it also has detoxification properties. So part of the detoxing that you're going to be doing is in these drinks. And a lot of people really like this product. It's sweet. Something I like about the Standard Process is it's very not sweet. It's very, almost a little bit bitter, right? Yeah, this one is really sweet. The PSF is less sweet than the CLA. But if you put a lot of vegetables in your smoothies and then you add this, it is really nice because then it makes it still yummy. And the other nice thing about this is you literally can mix it with water in a mason jar, and it makes a really good drink. So it's fast, like for people who don't have a lot of time, or you just, like sometimes I'll just bring one to work and I'll just put water in it at some point and shake it up. I like to add extra protein to this because it's only 10 grams, and so we have like a collagen protein you can add to it, or you can, if you do great with whey, you can add whey, where it's very blood sugar stabilizing. It's also a great precursor to glutathione, which is the body's master antioxidant, so that's a really good one if you tolerate it well. Excellent. And then, let me see, anything else about this one that I should say? No, I don't think so. So then, this comes in different flavors. This PSF is pea protein. The CLA, it's okay. The CLA is collagen protein. Hi. There's a seat up here if you want. And then the CHC is one of my faves. It's chocolate flavored, and it's this one's in collagen. Really yummy. So if you really wanted to splurge and and this is a fun afternoon one when you just want something sweet. And especially if you're doing coconut milk or something like that, it really, I put it in coffee seminars or whatever, so it's really yummy.
Is this the chocolate one that we have?
No, that's the regular. I didn't want to give people chocolate for smoothies. That's the pea one. And then the CLA, if somebody has gut issues and you really, know that about yourself, the CLA is really good. The collagen based is good for, targeting the gut. But it is sweeter, so just know that. So yeah, this drink is just great, and a lot of people choose to stay on this or the SP Complete after the cleanse because you will notice it's a good detoxifier. So Dr. Karazian, before his daughter leaves for school, has to drink this with other things in it. The antioxidant cocktail, he said. So, any questions on that? On the different choices?
question.
Yeah.
You said if people have known gut issues, what did you mean? Like, what are you referring to?
Well, so like if you have any gut issues like leaky gut or lots of gas or bloating or constipation or diarrhea, you know, a lot of it's gas and bloating, or a history of gut problems, then the CLA might be a great choice. However, you can also add in, and we'll go through it as we go through here, but the extra collagen protein. And you can get collagen protein, we have it here, though ours is a little bit sweet also. But you can get a tasteless one from Great Lakes or from Vital Proteins, and they're not very expensive. And I think it's one scoop is like 20 grams of protein or something, so it's a lot of protein. And people really notice collagen with their hair and their skin and their joints, that kind of stuff. So that's really good.
So this one, the PSF is the one that everybody gets.
PSF everybody gets unless you
Okay.
ask differently.
And the asking differently would be either that one with the whey
Mm-hmm.
or the one with
Or
the
the
chocolate.
chocolate.
And why don't you recommend the chocolate one?
Oh, we'll go through the diet and then you can
Okay.
see if you'd want to do the chocolate at the times we want you to do the smoothies. I think it just depends if you want chocolate for breakfast.
Chocolate.
So,
You wouldn't switch these off, you would only do one.
well, that's the thing that I think would be really fun. It's just, it's more, you know, they're pricey. They're like $68, these bottles. But personally, what I do is, you know, I would do one in the morning and do a different in the afternoon. So, okay, so let's start going through our packet. So with the latest book of the Fat Flush Diet, Ann-Louise Gittleman added this 3-day jumpstart, which we've modified. Note about this, if you really geek out and you order her book, one of the things that, and she has a lot of stuff online too, which I would recommend. One of the things that she's really against is eating salt. And I think this is a terrible idea. And I'm just gonna explain this real quick because it's fine if all you know about salt is Morton salt and that's what you're eating and you're eating a lot of processed. I mean, it's probably good for the average American to take a 2-week break from salt, right? But in our population, we're all eating good salts, and also a lot of us, I would argue pretty much everybody in the United States has adrenal issues, which is the stress response glands, right? And the adrenals are really sensitive to electrolyte imbalances, and they're really, when you have low adrenals, you crave salt. So to deprive, you know, and that is because your body needs extra salt because the adrenal glands aren't able to do what they would normally do by balancing your salt. And so if you are somebody that's running low adrenals, which I would argue every single person in this room has some, you know, variation of lower adrenal, even if you're spiking cortisol like crazy, you don't want to deprive the body of salt, and especially good salt. So Himalayan salt is delicious, but not my favorite because it has no iodine, right? So really important to use like a Celtic sea salt, or if you're going to use Himalayan, season with it, but cook with an iodized sea salt maybe even, to add a little bit more iodine, because remember iodine is so important for the thyroid, for breast health, and again, if we're not eating fish right now, we're not necessarily getting iodine. So, and that's just one of the things actually in that hormone seminar Dr. Krasian said is he'll tell his patients literally to put out a bowl of Celtic sea salt and dip their finger in it and have as much salt as they want throughout the course of the day. Because it's that healing for the adrenal glands. So, oh, he was saying that if somebody's really low adrenals, to put out a dish of Celtic sea salt, is what he said, and just dip your finger in it whenever you want and have salt. Another great way to do it is to add a little bit of salt to your water, and we'll talk about that a little bit. So this is an optional 3-day jumpstart, though I think probably most people will do it because we're a bunch of overachievers, and it's really, from the people who have done it, it's not that hard, and it's a really quick way to induce weight loss, which would make this cleanse 14 days instead of 11. So you could also incorporate it into your 11-day. You can do whatever you want. We've modified this from her particular book, but we've stuck with the same thing, which is that you're basically only going to be doing liquids those 3 days, smoothies, and then she has these things called fat metabolizer cocktails. Now, I did this for 2.5 days, and these are heavy-duty drinks for me. I am not a big garlic fan, and she calls her whole cube, what do you call it, garlic, head of clove per smoothie, which is heavy-duty.
Wow.
Michelle actually did it because she likes garlic, and she said she was like sweating with garlic.
There's a Masada at the gym, there's a
Trying to have people do it through diet. However, if you look at this, and as one of my girlfriends who's doing this already, she started last week and she gave me her tips yesterday. She was like, by the time I went to the grocery store and bought everything for the smoothie, for these fat flush, it would have been cheaper to just buy this, which is $24, and you take 4 to 5 3 times a day. On the regular 21 day, we have people take up to 7 3 times a day, so it lasts a week. This will detox you, the SP cleanse, but it's very safe because it's all whole foods and it has foods for every system of your body. I love this product. So
are you saying we could do that instead of this?
yeah.
Okay, and
She
then,
said I need
and
to
then
give
we're
people
just
that
having 3
option.
smoothies a day and nothing else?
Well, this is an optional first. Like I
Good.
wouldn't be able to do that.
I'm not judging it, I'm just
Yeah.
confirming that
That
I
is-
understand.
Well, I would add more smoothies if you're not doing the fat flush or the metabolizer cocktail. I would probably do 5 smoothies. Like
Okay.
keep to the schedule,
Uh-huh.
but just change out your smoothies.
Okay.
And the other thing you can do is what I did because I honestly can't live off liquids even if I add a ton of protein to them. It's just like I spend a lot of energy during my day and I can't have a down day right now at work or at home. I was thinking if I did this I'd literally have to leave and like go do a retreat for 3 days, you know, so I could do this, which I think then would be great, you know, if you were like stuck at a house with just these ingredients. I was imagining Ananda, you know, being up there and like you can't go shopping because you know someone took your car and you can just do it. Though the people who have done this, we've had a few now. You did it, Amanda did it. I feel like one other person. Yeah, Robert. He's doing great.
I did it.
You did it too. How was it?
I wasn't hungry at
That's
all.
what people are telling
At
me.
all. I mean, I was really, really surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No hunger.
it is, and that's that.
But the metabolizer one is pretty thick.
Yeah, it really is. It's like
Feels-
soup.
Yes. Yeah.
So
It's
so
like
yeah.
cream soup. Yeah.
So she was saying she did it, she wasn't hungry. And that's the feedback I've been getting. To me, doing this Fat Flush Metabolizer cocktail, I did it like I said. The way I did it, this was Michelle's advice, was that I made like 2 days worth at one time because I am not, you know, and then I put them in mason jars and Michelle brought these, oh, I don't know, these cute little mason jars and I just had them all in the fridge and I bring them to work and then I could do it. And if you feel any hunger and you drink that, you will not because it's also, it will detoxify you, right? So this is an example of a little jar which, great for meals too, right? You don't necessarily need it for smoothies, but this is 16 ounces and this is going to be about the size of your smoothies.
And I just did them all at once. Like the night before, if it was a day I was coming to work, I just made them all, stuck them in the refrigerator, and then I didn't have to do anything for food, which was the bonus for the day, is to not have to make a salad or cook something or.
And I think that works well for the metabolizer cocktail because it is so savory. It's not so good for the fruity ones, which is the skinny smoothie. The skinny smoothie though, what I still do, and I'm doing it still daily, is make it big enough that I can make 2 like this. Perfect. Can I show everybody this? This is kind of what it will look like.
That is what it is.
This is what it is. Overachiever. Okay.
Just the skinny smoothie.
Great. And you can do variations. You do not need, like, you know, I didn't have romaine lettuce, so I guess I used kale. So, you know, if you just know that if you want to really push detoxification and do more than 3 days worth, you have this option with the SP cleanse. If you want to go for the 3 days of detox, I find about a week of detoxing, you know, you can keep the metabolizer cocktail going throughout the cleanse as well. Oh wow, it's mine, I know I turned it on. But you want to, you know, just play with it. This is not like exact science. And again, if anybody comes up with anything better, please let me know. Or feedback, right? But the skinny smoothie is more like the yummy one, and that's the one we're going to have you put the protein powder in. So again, that would be the one I want you to start the day with, which is a modification of how Anne-Louise Gittleman does it because she has them start with the metabolizer. The metabolizer has no protein in it, and I find that people I really want my people when they wake up to have protein. That's just the way it is. So if you know about hypoglycemia, which pretty much everybody has, which is just running low blood sugar because we have low adrenals and they're related. I have a handout for everybody on my hypoglycemia handout, which explains why we want you eating first thing in the morning and how to eat throughout the course of the day to manage blood sugar, which the quick and dirty is every 2 to 3 hours. If you're really, really good with your adrenals, you can stretch it to 4, a protein, fat, and carb. So in this, you've got the carbohydrates. In the skinny smoothie, you have the carbohydrates because you have all the fruit and the veggies. So remember, carbohydrates are fruit, veggies, complex carbs, and simple carbs.
Pass those flyers down.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
And so obviously we want to go more towards the carbs, the fruits and veggies for carb, and the complex carbs, and simple sugars are carbohydrates also. Fats are basically, butter, animal fats, coconut oils, things like that. And protein, my favorite protein is meat, eggs. There's a lot of protein in dairy if you do okay with dairy. Nuts has protein but also a lot of fat. And then also legumes, for those vegetarians, they like to say they're really high in protein. If you don't have an option for meat, yeah, then do legumes. But they're really carbohydrates. They have a lot of carbohydrates as well. So that doesn't really count in my book. So when I want you eating, protein, fat, and carb, really in the hypoglycemia handout, it has suggestions of foods, but it would look like, again, if you do well with dairy, like my favorite thing right now is sliced Jarlsberg from Costco and a small apple. So then you have the protein, the fat, and the carb.
The what from Costco?
It's sliced Jarlsberg with a small apple. So if someone does well, on this particular cleanse, it would look more like probably, a meatball or two with, some veggies, and then the beef really has enough fat in it. Speaking of which, there's a really great cooking class online, and we have tons of recipes. This book is for free online. You need a passcode to get into it. We should email that out to everybody. It's just cleanse to get into our website. But I have more sources of recipes here. But Jessica Flanagan, who helped me create our other cleanse, she's a nutritionist. She did a really great cooking class. And honestly, we've had people do the whole cleanse off, 21 days off of that cooking class online. It's really good. So I would encourage you to watch that, and it helps you come up with a lot of great snack ideas and food ideas. Yeah.
I still use a lot of those.
Isn't that great? I know. And she has on her website, which I have in here, AIP Lifestyle. Oh yeah, and she's written this book too on the Loving Diet, Going Beyond Paleo into the Heart of What Ails You. So she has a lot of stuff also on her website and her Instagram. She has a lot of one-pot meals, which I absolutely adore. So there's going to be a ton of food. The Fat Flush people have tons of recipes on their website. So you will not have lack of ideas if you have a little bit of time to search. The other thing that she really does is she adds in flax chia, and she does hemp seeds as well. Do what you want. I would prefer flax or chia. And she wants everyone to have a tablespoon of flax or chia seeds a day, and also 1 tablespoon of flax oil, or MCT oil, but I kind of say and MCT oil. So let's talk about that real quick. The flax oil, again, is really good for the omegas, and she's really trying to push that. The MCT oils is medium chain triglyceride oils. It's coconut, but it's a derivative. So I don't know if anyone's looked at the Bulletproof Coffee guy. I forget his name.
Dave Asprey.
What is it?
Dave Asprey.
Dave Asprey, yeah. Okay. So he's really done a bunch of research on the particular isolates of coconut oil and how good they are for metabolism in the brain and everything. I mean, he really swears by them. So people do Bulletproof Coffee with this MCT oil. And Dr. Montanaro, also who's the osteopath that works here doing functional medicine and other things, he said he's doing it every day too, and that it's a really great brain and hormone and liver and everything. But honestly, the older I get, the more I care about my brain, so I'm going to focus on that. So that is something, that we ordered a bunch of, Mom, do you want Yeah, we ordered a bunch of just because I'm not sure, so Dave Asprey sells this, and I did buy one of his bottles, but it's in plastic, which makes me really uncomfortable, because we know plastic leaches, oil leaches plastic. So, so I ordered a bunch of these in the dark glass, and they're $25, $26, if you wanted to add the MCT oils to your,
What else are in there?
it's just coconut, but it's a derivative.
Fractionated?
So,
Is it liquid? Is it fractionated?
so, yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing is we did order some of the flax oils just to make it easy for people if you want to not have to go to Briar Patch or California Organics or wherever you go. So, so that you'll be adding to the smoothies. And honestly, the chia and the ground flax is really easy to grab to smoothies. If you're not into that, Amanda was telling me that she likes to add, she just puts the chia in water and lets it sit for a while and drinks that way, and that she really likes that because it makes it kind of mucilaginous. Again, really good for the gut. The other thing she adds to her smoothies is non-GMO sunflower or soy lecithin, which is really interesting to me because, all of us have been taught not to do soy. Though if you're postmenopausal, because it's very estrogenic and it can slow down the thyroid, though if you're postmenopausal or low estrogen, it's a great option, right? So I ordered also these, but the thing is with lecithin is it is one of the best things to get cortisol down. So it's a really good adrenal support, and it adds fat to your smoothie. So this is this is 5 grams of fat for 1.5 tablespoons. So if you're doing smoothies, there's your fat.
Is that soy?
This is soy, and then we also have the sunflower. The sunflower is in capsule, so I don't know if you want to just take it in capsule form or take it out. Either way, it doesn't matter. But this, like I said, the lecithin is really, really good for the adrenal glands and getting cortisol down. So I'm guessing that's why she did it. There's probably some other reasons. I unfortunately am not a nutritionist. And we did study nutrition when I've been studying.
Is lecithin the dark green stuff that smells really bad?
No.
Okay.
I think you're thinking, yes, spirulina.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
And then-
this really doesn't. I'm actually doing the soy right now because I haven't eaten soy in forever and I'm actually loving it. Though I did notice that I think it's affecting my hormones a little bit because I got a little bit more, might be too much information, but my breasts are a little bit tender this time before I got my period, and which usually isn't an issue for me. And so I'm just wondering if that is interfering. So what I was thinking is using, because I'm like something about it, I'm attracted to it right now. So what I'm gonna do is use it from first day of period to middle for 2 weeks and then switch, because that's the high estrogen part of our cycle.
Yeah.
And I do think that even though a lot of us are, honestly, probably in our population too, a lot of us might be a little estrogen deficient. I did do some testing and I was. So, because a lot of us are really careful about what we expose ourselves to, and we're not drinking plastic and we're not. So just, I would say use your sense of it. Like, if you're drawn to it, play around with it. It's not something I would recommend necessarily for long term, but there's lots of hormonal effects of soy, and then the sunflower is basically you can do the same thing without doing the soy.
Okay. And then my other question was, you were saying to put flax oil, which I kind of got lost right around there, and I don't see it on the list. But if we're doing the ground flax in the smoothie, then don't worry about flax oil.
They want you to do both.
Okay.
So at the end of the skinny smoothie, it will say 1 tablespoon ground flax, chia, or hemp seeds, and 1 tablespoon of this lecithin, and then, this is 1 tablespoon of the MCT oil. So some of it is MCT or flax.
Okay.
Honestly, I put both in mine.
Okay. So MCT oil, coconut oil, or flax oil,
Yeah.
and or any combination of those.
And then on page 4,
Right?
yeah,
The same thing.
yeah. On page 4, it says important on this cleanse. This was kind of the guidelines. Have 1 tablespoon of flax oil or MCT oil 2 times daily. So she wants you to do 2 tablespoons of those. You can one of each basically a day.
Okay, I just got lost again. Where is that?
So important on this cleanse, it's on page 4.
Okay.
So honestly, what I do is when I make that skinny smoothie or some variation thereof, I put a tablespoon of flax, a tablespoon of chia, a tablespoon of MCT, and a tablespoon of flax oil. It does make it a little bit bulky, but honestly, and then just chew, right? Chew your smoothie if it's like that, because the more you can get things moving, even if you don't have it bulky, like don't just drink it down. Like get it starting to, those enzymes in your mouth are really important. So, make it thick enough that you can kind of, keep it in your mouth for a while. And also if you're doing those as your meals, live it up, And then I said here also, you can consume unlimited bone broth, and then 70 grams of protein a day. That's a lot. It's easy if you're doing smoothies because you can easily, especially if you're doing an extra. So aim for anywhere from 50 to 70. I wrote 70 because I feel like if I write 70, people might do 50 or 60. But Amanda, my friend Amanda, who's doing this right now, she takes it literally, and okay, I'm gonna do it. And so she's like, wow, there's 70 grams of protein. That's hard to get in,
Yeah.
So, so just do what you can do, 50 to 70.
Where are you?
What page is
That was in that important on this cleanse, on page 4, with those other,
None of
kinda
my
daily
pages are
things.
numbered.
Mine aren't numbered either.
well, just,
Important on this
Going
cleanse,
find it.
and I don't see anything about the protein.
see at the bottom, the last line of the important on this cleanse, it says aim for at least
Oh,
70
okay.
grams of protein a day.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so then with your smoothies, I want you to mix everything in your blender, get it all, and then add your powders at the end, because you don't want to mix your powders at high speed. It can break down the bonds, especially if it's whey. It's not quite as important if it's the collagen and stuff, but it's just a good idea to kind of mix everything, really, get it to the consistency you want, and then add all your powders and stuff, and then just lightly mix it after that. Like I said, I like to do a lot of them at one time. We talked about that. And so let's go jump in. So that's that optional first 3 days. Now, I want you to stay on the smoothies at least one a day for the entire cleanse. And that's how you're gonna take your Clear Bite, right? In our 21 day, we do 2 smoothies a day. That's completely appropriate, especially if you're really trying to lose weight, to do one as a meal replacement and one as like an afternoon snack. Like one as a breakfast meal replacement, one as an afternoon snack. Really appropriate, just double up on the Clear Bite, get your protein in there, okay? The two tracks for cleanse, so now we're on the second page. Now we're jumping into the 11-day cleanse instructions. We're doing 2 tracks. One is like basically a no grain track, which is what I'm calling weight loss and detoxification. And then the track 2 is you are allowed to keep in a few things, which we'll go into later, and it's called nurtured detox. Now this is really, what your blood sugar dictates, what your weight loss goals are. I mean, everyone's now familiar with paleo diets and no grains and now blah, blah, blah. I personally don't necessarily agree with that 100%. Period. I think people are really good at paleo if they have a history of eating disorders and like to focus on food and are really body conscious, like overly so. Now, once in a while people really need to do it because they have real autoimmune issues and they absolutely can't eat any other way. What Jessica is finding with people on a paleo diet, she's one of the premier paleo nutritionists, is that as you limit your foods longer than, 6 weeks, 3 months, and you have any sort of autoimmune issues, you lose tolerance to those foods. And what we're finding right now in functional medicine is people are actually losing oral tolerance. So people are losing oral tolerance, meaning they just can't eat a lot of food. Like, they're losing, I think, kind of tolerance to our world on some levels, which is really sad, and it has a lot to do with stress. So, if you do not have a very serious autoimmune disease, which my population doesn't tend to, I like to have people eat a little bit of everything and do it in rotation. Don't max out on anything. More is not more, right? But keeping things in rotation is good, and it takes your body 3 to 5 days to clear something out. So if you're sensitive, it's, just don't do it every day. But you don't maybe want to eliminate it completely because you might not get your tolerance back for it. And sometimes it's a matter of like somebody did antibiotics, their guts are wrecked, they have to eliminate things for 3 months, rebuild their gut, get back on it. but just think of it as more of a temporary thing. If you're generally healthy, which my people are. Thank you all, I love you. I love my job. So what can you eat on both tracks? We recommend making the drink at least one skinny smoothie a day. If the fat metabolizer cocktail, if you want to keep that cleansing up, which I would recommend because you are here to cleanse as well, either do that every day or the SP Cleanse, which will be 4 or 5 caps 3 times a day. Now a lot of this is more effective on an empty stomach, so we'll talk about that. So oils and fats, flax, MCT, coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, sesame oil. We're really going to try to, you can put in a note here if you do well with, this is going to be updated on the website. This is not my we unfortunately made copies of my not most recent handout. So I'm going to actually, this is a work in progress, and I'm going to actually make changes, and I'll probably email you all changes within the next few days. And please also, if you see anything that needs change or you want more explanation, just let us know, and so I can add that in. But butter, if you're okay with dairy, just keep it in. Butter tends to be easier for people because it's higher fat content, and people react to proteins usually. That's what causes the sensitive food reactions. So butter tends to be better for that. And we are also allowing eggs to stay in, which is different from the last cleanse. It's one of the top 5 food allergens, but it's a great source of protein. It's also good for bile production and lots of other things, brain, cholesterol, and particularly the yolks is what we're interested in. So 2 eggs, so for protein, 2 eggs a day is fine, which is great for those of us who like protein. 8 ounces of lean meat a day. So that's like the size of your palm is about 3 to 4 ounces, so that's like quite a bit of protein. So you can also do, if you don't feel like you need that much, do 4 ounces of more of like a meat type thing, and then 2 eggs, or you don't have to do all 3, because if you're doing smoothies and you're taking protein powder, you probably don't need that much. And then 1 to 2 servings of Clearvite or SP Complete. That's a 20-gram protein total for the 2. It's 10 grams per smoothie. And up to 1 or 2 servings of collagen or whey protein, which is another 20 grams, 1 to 2 times a day. So again, depending on your weight loss goals and depending on how much you want to do smoothie versus eat food, up to you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So honestly, if you did the Clearvite with the extra collagen, and two smoothies a day with that's 40 grams of protein right there. That's why I think getting up to 70 isn't like super hard, but maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe, some people don't need that much. It's fine, you don't need it. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't do it.
So which one is the protein powder?
So that's the protein powder.
This is the protein powder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Clearvite is the protein powder.
That says 1 scoop, which is 5
Right,
grams?
so we do 2
Oh,
scoops.
we're doing 2 scoops.
2
of that.
scoops.
Okay.
And that's what okay, so I need to clarify that here. 1 to 2, because I just say servings. Serving is 2 scoops. Thank you. Of Clearvite. And I think I do have that in the skinny smoothie recipe. It says 2 scoops of protein powder. And that's the same for both the SP Complete or the Clearvite.
Okay.
So, but that's a great, I'll clarify that on my next recursion of
It
this.
does say.
Oh, great.
And what is the collagen protein?
So collagen protein is an extra if people want extra. A lot of people will probably be fine with just the Clearvite because the smoothie with the oils and the chia seeds is pretty robust.
Okay.
But if you're feeling like you need more protein, collagen or whey protein is an additional.
Do you have that?
Mhm. Yeah, we do have that here. So then the carbohydrates are all veggies. Now she really has people not even do carrots because she's really trying to eliminate all starchy, kind of more sugary veggies. Yeah, which seemed a little overkill to me. But I did say avoid starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, winter squash, pumpkin, parsnips, corn. Well, obviously corn, that's one of the top 5 allergens, as they're higher in sugar. This is a caveat, right? So potatoes is a nightshade, not great. Good to eliminate when you're doing a cleanse. Winter squash, we're probably not really eating that this time of year, or pumpkins or parsnips. Sweet potatoes, use your discretion. I mean, I'm not as extreme. So if you do a half a sweet potato or a sweet potato a day, I don't think that's the end of the world. If you're really wanting to get out all sugars, that is why it says that. And then also don't OD on them, because some people are like, well, it's the only sweet thing I can have, so I'm gonna have 2 sweet potatoes a day. You know, so it's just, we're going for moderation here, and more is not more. More is actually sometimes less. So, and then your fruits, again, some people really just then OD on fruits if we eliminate sugars. And no dried fruits, we're just gonna do no dried fruits, it's only 11 days we can do it. So the portion size is the size of a small apple or what you can hold in your hand. So like if you're going for 2 portions daily of like strawberries, don't do like a whole carton of strawberries, you know, do like what you can hold in your hand. She says 6, I figured that you can hold 6 in your hand. And then avocados, definitely eat avocados. She says up to 1 a day. To me that's a little flexible. You could do more, especially if you are decreasing, you know, the starchy vegetables and stuff like that. Avocados are great fats.
Is that an and with the 2 other portions of fruit, or is it an or?
And, great question. So that is so 2 servings of fruit plus an avocado a day is fine. Now again, if you really are like, I know that fat actually makes me fat, usually it's more like carbs make us fat and sugars and grains. But if you're like, I know when I eat avocados I gain weight, well, or if you're not losing weight, then rethink some of that stuff. She has everyone take out all vinegars except apple cider vinegar. And there's some things that she has found convincing about that. I don't really, you know, I'm saying, okay, fine, let's just go with it for 11 days. Apple cider vinegar is very good for acidifying the stomach, which a lot of people have low stomach acid even if they have acid reflux symptoms. And so when people come in, we know they're low stomach acid, like after they've been pregnant or they're aging or they've had chronic stress, I'll often say just do a little bit of apple cider vinegar before you eat protein meals because it's really good at breaking down protein, aka meat. And then we're avoiding all nuts, which is also new. We usually have done nuts, which I think is really great because nuts are hard on the gallbladder and they're very fattening. And for people who haven't lost weight on my other cleanses, when I really tease out their diet, it's like, well, that's because you're eating like 3 handfuls of nuts, you know, like lots of nuts. So all dairy except whey, and then butter for some of you. All gluten, wheat, all grains. This includes rice on track 1, corn, starchy vegetables. We've gone over that. Soy except the soy lecithin. For those of you who are going to be doing that because you're drawn to it. All vinegars except apple cider, all dried fruits, all sugars, all refined foods, and then basically all the other foods that aren't on this list. So don't email me and ask me like, well, what did somebody call and ask? Like safflower oil or something. It's like, no, we're just doing. Now, allowed cheats are 1 cup of organic coffee, which is also new. We haven't ever allowed coffee on a cleanse, or green tea. You know, you can have a cup of caffeine, xylitol gum. That's my addition. Because I love xylitol gum and it's supposedly really good for your mouth bacteria and it's just fun and sweet when you need that. And then she allows stevia, which honestly, when you add it to the cran water, which we'll talk about in a sec, makes it way better. Because I'm not a big fan of cranberry. But you can get liquid stevia and you add a few drops of that to the cran water and all of a sudden it's delicious.
Is Truvia the same thing as stevia?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
Yeah.
for stevia.
Right. So first thing when you wake, drink warm water with a splash of lemon, which helps the liver and gallbladder get ready for the day. And take the weight loss packet. And just try to take all your supplement. Well, the weight loss packet, the LVGB, the SP Cleanse if you're going to take that. Take that all on an empty stomach. So literally like what it will look like is you'll get out of bed, you'll go downstairs or your same floor, wherever you are. You'll turn on your teapot if you have an electric like me, my favorite kitchen appliance. And you'll make warm water somehow. You'll put just a splash of lemon. I get it in the organic just lemon because I'm too lazy to have, you know, like to cut a real lemon. Or you can use lime, fine. Just a little splash, and then if you want, do a little apple cider vinegar if that draws you to it, and just do that because then usually we don't eat right away. You know, usually it's like you get up, and so that will be the morning ritual. If you're, you know, lemon can be a little hard on teeth if you're concerned about that, or if you know you have bad dentin or whatever, you can always drink it through a straw. Supposedly that helps bypass the teeth. And then within an hour of waking though, I want you to aim for your first shake. Because that's really important for hypoglycemia in general and for regulating blood sugar. is to eat within an hour of waking. And people who run low blood sugar do not like that. They don't like it. So you might have to force yourself, and then you want to aim for that 15 to 25 grams of protein for breakfast. Now 25 grams is hard to meet the 15 grams, you know, like if you're not doing a cleanse, you could do 2 eggs and like a piece of like whole grain gluten-free toast that will probably a little bit more protein, and some eggs, and you'll hit that 15. On the cleanse, it would be a smoothie and a little bit extra protein. So aim for that, and then you want to take the blackcurrant seed oil, 2 of them, 3 times a day, and 1 CLA capsule with breakfast. So it's just going to be a little bit staggered, but you'll get into the rhythm. Really, if you just have, let's see, do I have those things here? Yeah, I absolutely love these. You can get them at J.J. Jackson's downtown or on Amazon. They're Human Gear Go Tubs. And I get all my supplements out. I've got like 21 of these or something. You know, I get them out for like a week. And I'll just pop it out, put it all out, get it all together. So literally when I come down the stairs in the morning, I get my warm water, I pop off the top, and I'll take it. And herbs and things are better on an empty stomach.
So what's in that?
They're just great containers for supplements.
Oh,
You know, because it's kind of a hassle. Again, if I don't want a sliced cheese or a lemon, I certainly don't want to like open a bunch of bottles and get out my supplements. It just would be prohibitive to me being good about that protocol. So if that resonates with you, just, you know,
You need 6.
you need at
You
least
need
6.
6 because it's before breakfast, before lunch.
Or you can
lunch.
pick out.
Well, but then
Yeah.
you don't know which ones are which. So,
It's true.
so I got an egg carton
Oh, that's a good idea.
because my little pill containers
An
were
egg
too
carton.
small.
That's a
Right, they're
great.
just too small. And then in the lid, I just wrote half an hour before breakfast, half an hour before lunch, lunch for each one. And I got 2 days.
That's awesome.
Supply goes through, and I just put everything in there so I know.
Yep.
And then if I get to lunch and I haven't had it, I'm like, oh, quick,
Right.
you know.
And that, you know, that will happen where you forget something and then you get to lunch, you know, oh crap, and just fine,
take
do it, doesn't matter, just take it. We
But
can't.
I was so confused by the way this was set up that I had to rewrite everything.
Oh, well,
I just
show me how you rewrote it.
So what I did was half an hour before breakfast, take this and eat this.
Right.
Or drink this, drink by 11. Breakfast, so many grams of protein, eat these.
Perfect.
Take these pills. Half an
Well,
hour
will you
before lunch.
share that with us?
I will, I can email
And we
it to
do
you.
have a cleanse Facebook page, which we'll send you out a link. And please, like, anything you come up with, share.
Yeah.
Because what I'm going to be curious about is this a cleanse we bring forward into the future? You know? Amanda, who's almost done with it now, is loving it. And she's done our other one as well. And I think that the really, like, kind of shorter time, really focus on weight loss will be really appealing for a lot of us who don't want to necessarily take on a 21-day venture. But yeah, I definitely want everyone to communicate and really give me feedback like that. So any resources you come up with yourself, I would love to see. So then she does this thing. Oh, okay, then, so here's a kind of daily schedule, which I'm going to let you look at because it's not, I guess, you know, breakfast, snack, because I want you eating every 2 to 3 hours. 3 hours should be fine. Some of you might be able to go 4. But 3 hours is a great thing. So breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. Some of you might need something before bed, especially if you're waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to go back to sleep. Oftentimes, some high protein fat right before bed will really help with that nighttime waking. If you're kind of waking up with a start anywhere from 2 to 4 a.m., that usually signals that you have low adrenals and low blood sugar, and your blood sugar has dipped down as your cortisol starts rising again, and it makes you alert. So there's 2 things to do about that. One is to have a snack before bed. Another, and to keep your blood sugar regulated throughout the course of the day really helps. 2 is we have this Adrenocalm cream. That's a lotion, and I keep it on my nightstand, and it lowers cortisol. So that also helps you fall back asleep. And so before bed, you take the last dose of the LVGB, remember, not the weight loss packet. You can do warm water with another bit of the MCT oil, depending on how your body's doing with that. Usually people do great. And that actually also will really help you, not hot water because it will burn your mouth, but that actually really helps with nighttime too. It's just that fat before bed. Now, she's really big on this stuff called cran water, which is cranberry juice mixed with water. And cranberry is a diuretic. It's also an antioxidant. and it promotes toxin expulsion, and it honestly, I think what she's really using it for is that it will get a lot of extra fluids out of your system, and a lot of Joe Schmo Americans have a lot of extra edema, swelling, water in their tissues. And the reason why is because if you've heard that term, the solution to pollution is dilution. So, you just add more water and then it won't be so polluted. Well, that's what our bodies do. So if you see people that are like puffy or under their eyes are heavy, they're swelling, it's literally that they're toxic. They can be, not always, right? And their body is literally swelling with water to try to dilute. So, one interesting thing with that is, drinking these diuretics, we just had a guy start this cleanse and he lost like 11 pounds in the first 3 days. Now that is not healthy weight loss. That is that he must have been toxic, So don't expect that, and also usually the weight loss will happen quickly at first and then taper off because all of us will have some amount of edema and swelling in our tissues.
Well, he also said he drank a lot of beer.
Yeah, well, and usually he drinks a lot of beer and eats a lot of bread, and he knows he shouldn't do that. So, but that's a lot of weight. So that's an example of getting it. Anyway, she has people drink 8 ounces a day. That's 64 ounces, which is 2 big juice containers like those. Now, in my latest, I honestly don't think you need this much. So make a note. You only need 32 ounces a day if you want to do more. But what I found when I was doing this is that I was drinking so much cranberry I wasn't drinking water. And cranberry is a diuretic, and so it leaches you with water. And I was getting dehydrated even though I was drinking that much liquid. So in the next version of this, it's going to be 4 8-ounce glasses a day. And it's going to be another 32 ounces of water, and maybe even water with electrolytes or a little bit of salt and lemon. So we have electrolyte mix here that I really, really like. We have 2 different kinds, actually. One's a Designs for Health electrolyte mix, which I've looked a lot for electrolytes because a lot of them have sorbitol and just junk in them. This one has stevia, which I really like, and it tastes good. And
one of them.
And then the other one is the Thorne vitamin C drink. Do you see that up there? It's just little, and it will say that has electrolytes. So that's this one.
What's the other one called?
It's Thorne vitamin C. It's a smaller container, looks like that, with some green on it.
Oh, the C complex?
Yeah. Now this also has electrolytes and C, and I really like this one too. And this one's great for kids because it tastes good. So good for the immune system. But this also has electrolytes. So if you're feeling like I was, just depleted, then you can add some extra electrolytes, or just add some salt. Celtic sea salt to your water and a little bit of lemon, and you'll get some of that same benefit. So remember, you can add some of that stevia to make that yummier too. But I'm going to say 32 ounces of water. Now, my mom got me the cranberry concentrate, which actually works great. And you only need a tablespoon for a 32-ounce jar, so it really lasts a long time. And it's easy. So here's all your supplements. We've gone through them all by now. And then the extra supplements are the SP Cleanse, if you want to do that, and because you're not going to do the fat metabolizer. The MCT oil, which we talked about, the soy and sunflower, the electrolytes, the collagen and whey. We do have a fiber if you wanted to add more fiber. The whole food fiber is normally in our 21-day cleanse. Totally optional. Adrenal support is, if you're running low adrenals. This is why I usually screen everybody in a consult, but we're not requiring that this time. But we do have some videos online on our website, like on the Cleanse website. We have a talk I do on adrenal glands, which I'd recommend you watching, and just see where you are on that. And there's a ton with Dr. Aviva, A-V-I-V-A, Rom. She's an MD, and she has my favorite stuff online right now on adrenals and thyroid. And then last thing is that magnesium citrate. We do not want you to get constipated at all. So Smooth Move tea or magnesium citrate, about 400 milligrams at night before bed, and you will not get constipated. You can do more if you need it. And that we have in a powder. It's only $13. You can get it at Briar Patch or something. So if you tend to get constipated, we do not want you getting constipated while you are detoxing. You feel like crap.
What if you're going the other way?
If you have more diarrhea, that's a great question. I would probably add in some of the rice and stuff like that, honestly. Where did we, yeah, actually, you know, that reminds me, we did not do that section, so let's jump back a page, I'm sorry. So this is page 3. So if you're on the Nourishing Detox class, track 2, you can add a half cup of lentils, beans, or mung beans a day, a half cup of quinoa a day, a brown rice cake a day, and you can add 2 or out of these 4 daily. So that will just get, you know, like honestly, a rice cake is really great with a ton of butter on it, and it's a great crunchy cleanse snack. So Patricia, I would just consider maybe doing something like that, yeah. Okay, we're almost done. Walk 20 minutes a day. There's all the recipes online. General lifestyle, we talked about, I like everybody on omega-3s and vitamin D. We talked about that. And then there's tons of additional support, which we'll also email you out. But the videos on our Facebook and stuff like that is all there. So,
What about xylitol for sweetening the crown?
yeah, you know, xylitol for sweetener, maybe fine. I mean, I would just stick to the stevia. I'd say let's just do what, you know, her thing is, and let's see if it works.
Why do you not like the xylitol?
Huh?
Why do you not like the xylitol?
Well, it's all corn-based, usually, and a lot of it's from China.
Okay.
And I think that, like, there's some stuff that says it might be a little hard on the gut. Now, stevia isn't perfect either. So, you know, like, nothing's perfect right
I
now.
think it gives me headaches.
What?
Stevia.
Yeah, stevia gives her headaches. So just play around with it. That's interesting. So,
But the xylitol doesn't have an aftertaste.
Right.
It is, yeah.
so if you need it, you can always try it, you know, or just try not doing any sweeteners. So, you know, everybody is taking on this process, and we have this last page of this other cleanse book that you can look up online, which is that, you know, you're committing to doing something for your body that is healthy. And I really commend everybody for being at a place in their lives where they feel ready to do that, and we all do need this on some level. So take some time to really also be introspective. So we have some, you know, journaling and baths and skin rubbing, and you can go and do a float at the Grass Valley Float Tank or infrared sauna, or lay out in the sunbeam, go for walks. I mean, really see, because when you cleanse, even in this sort of situation, you will have stuff come up. And it might just be like old trauma stored in your body, old memories, you might get headaches, you might feel crummy. And just really take this 11 days, or if you do the extra 3 days, to be really gentle with yourself, kind to yourself, really give yourself a lot of, as my father-in-law says, pats on the back. And take it too as a time to really delve deeper into why you're here, what your greater purpose is, how we're all connected, you know, things like that. And yeah, just really, I hope you really have a deep, wonderful journey, and we're here to support you. You will get an email, and we have lots of resources, and Michelle is excellent for just asking daily questions too, and you can also email us, and then use each other as resources on the Cleanse Facebook page. Okay? Yay, well, great job everyone, and I'll answer questions too. If you haven't paid for your Cleanse kit, come up and grab it if you want any of the extras.